You ready, Remy? You ready to rock and roll, Remy?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, this is episode 7 of the Godzilla Nerds podcast, and today we are discussing Godzilla versus Destroyer, a movie picked by my man Nick. So we're gonna kick this off the right way. I am one of the hosts. I am Donald.
I'm Nick.
Serge.
I'm Remy. That was terrible about to Roy. I was gonna try and do it like now. I always hear that. Nah, don't do it.
Oh man, Nick, I will say, you picked a really, really, really good movie. I've seen this movie probably 100 times, but before we do a movie review, I always like to go back and watch it and have my memory refreshed. So the first thing, because I rarely ask this question, I probably never asked this question. The very first question off the back is, I'm gonna start with you, Nick. This is your movie. How did you feel about the soundtrack? Because I feel like this was one of the best soundtracks in the
I actually like the
heisei
soundtrack.
era. Like overall, and Serge, I know you said this a lot. Like you're really, really big on that heisei era, and I know it's your favorite, and I can see why. After watching this, like it was awesome. But the soundtrack was amazing, man. Amazing.
Mm-hmm. I liked it. Can't go
Yeah,
wrong.
like
It was a really good soundtrack.
yeah, it was. What about you, Serge? How did you feel about that soundtrack?
Oh man, being the movie that it was and the send off for Godzilla at the end of the Heisei era, it had to be good. It had to.
Yeah,
It was basically, I mean, his final fight, final movie in the Heisei, the rise of Junior. So I mean, I feel like they went all out in it. I think so, and I think in most of the Godzilla movies. So sometimes the music can get a little wild, wild anyway. But in this one, it was just, man, they just went for it. So I think they did a very, very good job with the soundtrack, and it really, really fit. And even that ending theme, as the movie's finishing out and everything, man, that was a powerful song, powerful score behind what was going on. Perfectly fit what was going on. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite soundtracks, that's for sure.
yeah. I was just listening to it. I'm like, I gotta bring this up because I found myself just nodding my head. I was getting like super excited. I was like, man, this soundtrack is fire, and it fits perfectly with like almost every scene. Remy, how did you feel about the soundtrack to Godzilla versus Destroyer?
This is one of my favorite soundtracks, probably in the entire Godzilla series. Like the opening number when Godzilla approaches Hong Kong, like you have the theme going like you just have it going bum 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 bum
Oh
bum
yeah,
bum bum like that. That's one of my favorite themes ever for Godzilla. And like what's weird is that I always think that theme is Destroyah's, but I'm like, no wait, his theme is different. But like the music in this movie is like phenomenal. I love the Super X theme too. When the Super X shows up and they have that military-esque theme playing in the background, that's awesome. I love that theme too. And of course, we can't forget the song that plays during Godzilla's death, like Serge said. That makes the finale even more emotional, thanks to Akira Ifukube, because like this, like a little operatic tone he has
yeah,
going with it. Like you really feel like just the sadness that wow, Godzilla, this incredible creature, is like dying right in front of our eyes for the first time. Like we've never seen Godzilla die, and so be accompanied by that kind of score really meant something. Especially during the end credits song where we have the original Godzilla theme play. It was like a celebration of all the years.
yeah. It was, and I think that score helped bring out even an emotional side of Godzilla, because we normally see him as destructive or misunderstood, but this movie actually was just one of the. Cause when I seen Godzilla versus Destroyer, I was probably 13 or 14. So it was like two things that can't happen to Godzilla. Like he can't lose and he can't die. That's something that I just was not willing to accept with Godzilla. But in this movie, like I was like really, 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 really sad. I watched this movie with my mom. I watched this with my mom, and my mom like she was about to cry. And I couldn't cry. I couldn't let her see that side. I was like, no, I can't cry. I can't cry. But when you look at it, it was really, really, really a strong score for Godzilla. Nick, this film is non-stop from the get-go. Obviously, we see Godzilla right off the bat. Already acting a fool, right? He's probably the first person in history, bro, that was on fire and just able to stand in water all day. Because,
Literally.
he was like, I don't know, Godzilla, and he looked at menacing in this movie as well. So, Nick, what I want to ask you is, from the opening credit to the end of this movie, what was your favorite scene in all of Godzilla vs. Destroyer? Last heisei film.
Very good question. I think to be honest, when Destroyer first showed up, like the adult form Destroyer,
Okay.
not the flying one, not the crab looking one, the main one. Like that one coming out from the nuclear explosion and everything to form one gigantic, oxygen destroyer to try and destroy Godzilla. I actually like the way they did that whole entrance for that one.
And Nick, I will admit, I forgot when Destroyer had transformed. They didn't show his face right away. It was kind of like flame. It's like a silhouette of flame just covering him. You see his wings, you see all that, but you didn't see his face. And I thought that was cool. And I forgot all about that part. So I'm not even gonna lie. I forgot. And when they seen that, I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. Like Destroyer, it was awesome. Serge, what about you? Your favorite scene in Godzilla versus Destroyer, the final heisei?
Easy. The very, very, very last scene where the camera's going through the dust, the steam, the smoke, and everything, and you can't see anything, and boom, and then you see Junior, and he's not Junior anymore. And I'll piggyback it onto the thing about the soundtrack. One of the greatest things about the soundtrack is that it also knew when not to play, because nothing is being played as the camera rolls up to Junior.
That's
who's
right.
now flying Godzilla.
You just hear his roar,
right.
and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. You hear. It's almost you kind of hear like the wind, and then you just see his outline, and then you hear the roar, and it's perfect. It's perfect.
Wow, that was a good catch, sir. That was a good catch, bro.
Yeah, because I always remember that. Well, I don't remember the first time watching it because that was a really, really long time ago. But that one scene is the scene that always stuck in my head. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've made that outline, that shadowy outline, as the screensaver to my phone like a couple of times at least.
I might need to do that, sir.
I didn't mean to do that too, actually.
It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, easily. Actually, that was probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire series. One of them.
Yeah, that's definitely one in my top 5 for sure. And that's why I say, Nick, you picked a fire movie. Remy, what was your favorite scene in Godzilla versus Destroyer?
I was laughing because Serge had the exact same favorite scene that I did.
There you go.
I was like, dang it.
Sorry.
But no. But I'm with Serge right now. My favorite scene is that ending where we get Godzilla Jr. all grown up. Like, I just love the build up to it. Like, we just had like this very dramatic, very depressing scene of Godzilla dying, and you're thinking, what now? He's gone. And then they show the radiation level readings going down, dropping. And you're like, wait, what's going on? And then the camera slowly zooms in through the smoke, and you see Godzilla Jr. roaring, and it's like, the legacy will live on, baby. Woo!
All of a sudden, the ending is not so sad.
I know. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, the ending is actually like perfect because when you first watching it, it's like the build up. It's like all you thinking is Godzilla gonna die, and like the twist they put on the end. I thought it was perfect. It couldn't get no better than that to end the final movie of that era. And that was the biggest thing for me. And that's why I said when we go back and look at films like these, people don't realize how much action are in these films. Like it is a ton of action in these films. Like from even Destroyer being able to go through 3 different transformations at a pretty good pace. It wasn't like crambled together, pushed together, anything like that. Like just being able to do that. I mean, that's why I say this movie from start to finish. I mean, it was excellent. Like even the women in this movie was bad. Like bro, every woman I know, look, every woman I know. Look, even when they went to the, remember when they was at the beach, the first 2 ladies they showed were hot. I was like, oh my god, like.
Oh my god, man.
I would say, I would say my favorite scene in this film would probably be, of course, it's the last one, Serge and Remy. But another one that stuck out to me is when, she was in the chopper and she was watching Godzilla swim. His tail was coming in and out of the water, and all you could see was his dorsal plates. I thought that was cool, and it kind of reminded me of Godzilla 2014 when he was swimming and they were like surrounding him and they were following him to get to the Muto. So I thought that was a really, really awesome scene. Nick, if you can describe Destroyer with one word, what would it be and why?
Damn.
That's perfect.
Because you would expect, you look at all of Godzilla's enemies, they only have one stage. You look at Destroyer, he's got 3 stages. He's got the crab, then he's got the flying one, and then you got the adult one.
Yes.
So each version is deadlier than the other. First stage, somewhat deadly, not too deadly. Second stage, gets there to be deadly. Third stage, straight destruction. It's
Especially when
straight
those 2
destruction.
destroyers combined. They combined. I was like, oh my gosh.
Because you have the horn of Destroyer that glows and reaches out to God knows how long and slices Godzilla repeatedly. Then you got the atomic breath out of him. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
like, and the big one flies. And not
Yeah.
only that, it can multiply because there was a second Destroyer after Godzilla destroyed the first one.
Yeah, it sure was. Again, and especially when a lot of the little ones started attacking him, Godzilla took one of them and just threw him. Like, bro, get off me.
I saw when he yeeted it. I was like, "Well, you're not going to be in any other Godzilla movies."
It's almost as bad as when he yeeted Baragon.
There you go.
I
Bound to
I
come
was
up.
waiting it.
was like, oh, I mean, when he yeeted Baragon?
Yeah, Baragon was trying to bro, Baragon was trying to crawl up that little hill, and Baragon kind of chubby too, so he wasn't going as fast as he thought he was going, and Godzilla caught up to him.
Mm-hmm.
But Serge, I'm coming to you. If you can describe Destroyer with one word, what would it be and why?
The devil. He looks like the devil.
That's true.
He's big and red. I mean, if that's what he looks like, right? But
That's what we're told what he looks like.
yeah, basically. Yeah, man. I mean, he just. I mean, literally, that's what his design came from. You know, if you hear, you read and see some of the background, like they just wanted to make it Destroyer as villainous as they could, and they did. And and then also just the fact that, I mean, he's the first killer of the first Godzilla, you know, so it suits him. And now he's back. You know,
That's right.
just to see off this Godzilla. So yeah, the devil. Yeah, it's funny too, because even my daughter has seen the figure and she's like, "Daddy, what's that?" Because he looks menacing, you know. Yeah, so they did a really good job with just making this one believably evil as all hell.
Yeah, like he was, and how you said that your daughter was, that's how my son was. I was sitting there watching it, and like he couldn't even say nothing, like, because he only saw 2 forms of Destroyer. He saw the crab-like, and then he saw the last one. He didn't see the flying one, but when he saw the crab, he was like, "What is that ugly thing?" I'm like, that's Destroyah. But I'm like, look, he got a final transformation. It looks a little bit better than that. Well, when he did the last transformation, my older boy was like, he doesn't look better than he was like, he's just an ugly, scary looking monster. And I was like, okay, well, he's menacing, totally menacing. And he was like, yeah, he does look scary. So I was like, all right, Destroyah got my son approval, so that's all I care about. Remy, I'm coming to you. If you can describe Destroyah with one word, what would it be?
Asshole. I mean, tell me. I mean, don't tell me I'm wrong. Literally picked up Godzilla Jr., then just tossed him down on the building, blasted him like that wasn't enough, wrapped his tail around Godzilla's throat, choked him out, dragged him across the airport like he was a toy, and like, especially in the crab forms, and they're like going after that one chick in the car, and they're like totally in it, and he has like that alien mouth coming towards her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, Destroyah, you're just a jerk. Like, you're just a jerk, man.
Bro. Crawling on top of the car, like, man, what is you doing? Is you gonna kill her or not?
Yeah, I'm like, you just messed up the car because you just want to.
No, Donald was like, no, don't kill her. No, don't.
Yeah,
I know. He's like, no.
Don't
Don't get rid of this hotness.
Save her.
He mad at the guy. He took on the cruise. He could at least flew a private jet or something. He put on a boat where Godzilla can come and get her. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? He put on a boat. I was already mad at him, but then I had to depend on him to save her. So I'm like, look, dude, you need to go ahead and do what you're gonna do and get out my way. And he finally showed up at the very, very, very last minute. I was like, what a hero. I didn't like him in the movie. I despise him. He's not even a character, bro. He ain't a
wow.
character.
Talk about Destroyah here, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about Destroyah. The word that I would describe Destroyah, I would say Destroyah is very ugly. And the reason I say he's ugly because you see those two hot chicks, right? See, they wasn't even studying Destroyah. Look, hear me out. Those two girls crying over Godzilla. They know the difference. Unless you know right now, they liked the Godzilla, didn't like Destroyah. Destroyah was just ugly, but he was just downright menacing. He was just scary. It used to be hard for me to look at him for a while. Actually, when I used to watch it when I was younger, I could not look at Destroyah for a very long time without being scared. So that's how scared I was when I was little, just watching Destroyah. And you're right, Remy. He did drop Godzilla Jr. off, bro. I didn't like that, bro. I'm like, Godzilla, you got to put hands on him now. You got to
like get him.
I was like, get him, Godzilla, get him. But yeah, I think Destroyah. He's one of my favorite villains. I'm not gonna put him over King Ghidorah though. I just can't do that. That's not gonna happen. But I would say he was very, very menacing in this movie. And then having 3 different transformations, I thought that was cool too. And crawling around like Mr. Krabs. And I'm not understanding their military. They gotta be the dumbest military ever. Like, y'all dealt with these before, these guns.
Well, it's like in every Godzilla movie. They keep sending out tanks, jets, everything. I'm like, you guys have not learned, have you? Nothing works against these things.
I always said
they wish.
Yeah, they wish that could hurt them, but they don't.
Learn one movie that they actually needed a mecha. Nothing.
Exactly. I don't like. They did. They needed like Super Mecha Godzilla or Mogira or something. They needed one of those guys to help them out.
I guess the more military that's in the movie, I guess the better for me because I can watch Godzilla, whoever destroy him. Because I like destruction, so just get him out the way. Just do what you got to do so I can see the monsters fight. Nick, I'm coming back to you. Where would you rank this Burning Godzilla design of all time? Number 2, okay. Number 2.
I like King of the Monsters.
Okay.
I liked it. It was fuego.
Monsters was fire though, bro.
I liked it, but this one I liked so much. Also, that's why it's like number 2 because you see the smoke coming off of him, you see the radiation building up, and you also see his heart pulsing That's why he glows so much. His heart's just beating, and he's like an atom bomb, just one that could destroy the entire world.
Yeah, when you could see him glowing, I kind of felt for Godzilla. I'm like, wow, because I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, man, I know what's happening. Like he's heating up. And but it was so cool. Like even in that time, 1995, 1996, to have that amount of detail in Godzilla, I thought was awesome. Serge, where would you rank this burning Godzilla design of all time? I'm talking about out of any and every Godzilla. Like, where would you put this burning Godzilla?
Well, I mean, for me, Heisei is my favorite series. Always has been.
Mhm.
But I mean, we really only get two different designs in the Heisei series, which is 84/85, and then the rest, because from Godzilla versus Biollante on to Destroyah, is pretty damn close. It's pretty consistent. There's not really too much more done, less. Apart from in this one, all the burning stuff. But essentially, the design is still the same as the other ones. It's just on fire, So that being said, this one is along with the other Heiseis, Biollante, Space Godzilla, Mothra. This is my number one. Heisei has always been my number one. I love King of the Monsters. I love MonsterVerse. Godzilla vs Kong, King of the Monsters. But this one is my number one because it's always been my number one. And not just because. I mean, I grew up with Showa and Heisei. Heisei being my favorite, but it's so iconic, and it is the most iconic Godzilla throughout since then. I mean, even when you see the video of that new ride in Japan, it looks like Heisei. It looks like Heisei mixed in with a little bit of Legendary, and it's just easily the most recognizable Godzilla that there is. Even the Dark Horse comics that I have from the late '90s, even after the movies were done, it's just the Heisei design. So that's the one that stuck with me the most, and so this one is definitely my number one.
And I think too, I'm gonna piggyback off what you said, Serge. I really, really like the MonsterVerse. It's actually one of my favorite Godzilla universes. I think what has to happen though, I think the MonsterVerse is gonna have to make more movies because they only have what, four? They have 2014 King of the Monsters, Skull Island, and Godzilla versus Kong. So I think they'll probably have to get a few more movies under their belt, before we can really start saying, okay, this might be the better universe versus Heisei or the Showa era. And then another
It's so
thing
young.
too, yeah, it's still fresh. And a lot of people really like my wife. She watches Godzilla, but she doesn't watch like the Showa or the Heisei. So she's more MonsterVerse. So I've seen all of them. So I think a lot of people who saw Godzilla versus Kong, they're seeing the Godzilla from the MonsterVerse. They're not seeing the Godzilla that sometimes
That we
he's
saw.
against that he's against humanity. So we've got to see all that. So it's no surprise to us when Godzilla's destroying things because we actually love it. And another thing too that I like about these Heisei films and even the Millennium films, they always go back. They always go back to that 1954, the original, the OG. I love that because it's almost like they're telling you, look, this is where it started. We haven't forgot, where all this has come from, and I love that. Remy, where would you rank this burning Godzilla design of all time?
Hard one, man. Because I really like the design. I'm gonna say probably number 8.
Number 8, okay.
Yeah, still my top 10 list. Like I'm with Nick on this one. Like between this Burning Godzilla and the 2019 Burning Godzilla, 2019 takes it because like I just love the look of that one. Like his entire body is on fire. But this Godzilla design I really like because it's like one of the only Godzilla designs that like stands out. 'Cause, I mean, like you look at him and he's like pretty recognizable. I mean, let's be honest. You look at him, you're like, oh, that's Burning Godzilla, and like it's a really cool design too. Like, it's badass. Like Godzilla is on fire, like not like over his body, but inside of his body as well, and he shoots like that spiral heat ray too, like constantly. He only used to do that when he got a power up, but now he does it like all the time, which signifies to us like, oh shoot, Godzilla may be dying, but right now he's probably at the strongest we've seen him. Like like it's man, like this is like one of my favorite Godzilla designs, like number 8 for sure. There's a few other designs that are above him, but he's in my top 10 for sure.
And that spiral heat ray, if they're gonna make a MonsterVerse movie with Destroyah, they gotta let that be the reason Godzilla beat him. They gotta be, and they let Godzilla beat him. Like I don't see no other. I mean, he's already turned into Burning Godzilla, so something else has got to occur, right, in order for him to, beat somebody like Destroyah. And then for 2, I think my favorite thing about Burning Godzilla and that figure you just showed was the dorsal plates. For some reason,
the dorsal plates are awesome.
They were killer, man. Like I kept looking at them. Like I love those dorsal plates. That was by far to me like the best dorsal plates I've seen on Godzilla. Well, Burning Godzilla, like it was awesome. Nick, I'm coming back to you. What were you able to pull from the last film of the Heisei era? Did you get everything you wanted out of this film?
Honestly, yes. Yes, because we got to see the death. No offense, the death of Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered what it would be if Godzilla would die, but also if he had next of kin to take on the legacy, as Remy said.
Yeah, passing the torch.
I actually got to see Godzilla become really nuclear, like death type, end of the world nuclear. Wasn't expecting this form, but it was phenomenal for me. And to see Godzilla fight his last battle against an oxygen destroyer that killed the OG Godzilla, and for him to die, which was a depressing death, but it was like you saw everybody cry because Godzilla died. Everybody got very upset. But to see now, like Serge brought up, going into the smoke, you see Junior. So what you if you really pay attention, you got to see Godzilla pass his life from him to Junior. That's what the red thing was coming out of his mouth. I thought it was just a breath, saying your breath stink, but he was passing his life into Junior to come back to life. So I guess not only did he have that atomic breath, that super power of his, he had the power to bring one monster back to life, and he'd rather bring his next of kin back to life.
Man, that was an awesome answer, Nick. I can't even argue. I can't complain about what you just said. I thought you hit everything like right on the money. And I know, Serge, I know you got something for us. What were you able to pull from the last film of this Heisei era? Did you get everything that you wanted in this film?
I mean, it was that movie was everything that it needed to be, because it was apart from 1954, it's the only one where Godzilla dies, and that's it, and like he's gone. Of course, he does have a rebirth in Junior, right? But from 1954, it's the only one where he legit dies and melts away. So I think Toho did an incredible job of making this movie everything that it needed to be, because it needed to be at the time. That was going to be the final, like that was it, so this was the final send-off. So I think it was the perfect send-off for the Heisei, and then for the whole series. If it would have stopped there, it would be satisfying ending. And don't get me wrong. I don't think it was perfect. There's little things here and there, particularly in the end. But I think apart from all that, the ending that we did get with Junior being full-fledged Godzilla now is perfect. Like that last, however long that is, a minute, 45 seconds, 30 seconds, is as good as you get for the final Godzilla movie in the Heisei series, and of course at the time the final Godzilla movie. Period. It was exactly what it needed to be.
And again, like I said, I knew that you had a really good answer, sir. So it's nothing that I can argue with, about your take on that. Remy, your turn. What were you able to pull from the last film of the Heisei era?
That again with both Serge and Nick, I thought this was probably the best ending that they probably could have given. Like for what the Heisei era was trying to build towards, this is a great finale in my opinion. Like you brought all the human characters back that we've grown to know throughout the Heisei era. Like
Yep.
what's her name? Miki, I think her name is. Miku.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No. Don't start. Here we go again. Yeah, but no, the bringing her back was great. I like how they actually had what was her name? The girl from the original one, 1954, showed up in this one too. That was really cool. The Oxygen Destroyer, bringing that back too. Bringing the one main thing that killed Godzilla is now an actual kaiju. Like you think about it, that's like a great twist on this. And plus, it's character development, really. There's a lot of character development in this movie, especially for the kaiju, especially Godzilla Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Like when we see him as Baby Godzilla in Mechagodzilla 2, he's a little pipsqueak. He can't do anything. And then in Space Godzilla, he gets trapped and he has to be saved by Godzilla Mogira. But in this film, Godzilla Jr. actually is able to carry a fight on his own. Sure, he gets pretty injured during his scruffle with the crab form of Destroyah, but he's still able to take him down without anybody's help. Like, to me, that's like great character moment. And at the end, Godzilla Jr. becomes the new king of the monsters, and it's great. Like you think about it, like wow, there's some really good writing with the monsters. And I'm gonna drop it down here, guys. But Godzilla vs. Destroyah at the time, like right now, is my favorite Godzilla movie. Like this is my favorite one, in all honesty. Like number one for me.
I can't even argue with you because it's such a good movie, and that's why I like when we do these, because when I have a chance to go back and rewatch these films, it's always something that I miss, and I can always be like, "Wow, I didn't know that happened in the film," or I don't know how it slipped my mind. Or when I talk to you guys have such good input. It's like, "Oh wow, okay." Serge brought up a good point. Nick brought up a good point. Remy, you bring up good points. Like what you just said, like think about it. A walking oxygen destroyer, that's a kaiju. That looks menacing, that's terrifying, that's destroying everything in its path. Like that's scary. And then even with, Godzilla Jr., him being willing, to take on Destroyer for the little time that he did. I thought he did good for, he wasn't even an adult yet. So it was already showing you how already powerful he was. And I think in this movie too, Godzilla Jr. and Remy, you brought this to my attention. That's why I said you guys give such good points. And burning Godzilla, and this is one of the reasons why I don't put Destroyer over King Ghidorah. When a lot of people talk about this movie, they make it seem as if Godzilla like really got dominated, and he didn't. Like Godzilla held his own. Like it wasn't even the case. Like Godzilla held his own. Godzilla Jr. held his own. And I started thinking about it. I was like, yeah, Destroyer got the menacing look, but what's more scarier, like, a dragon with 3 heads, 2 tails that can fly, they all can shoot gravity beams, or just, Destroyer, which I'm not, downgrading Destroyer, but both of them are menacing. I would hate to face both of them, obviously, But I think that Godzilla, he was able to hold his own. And I don't know if it was just me or was Godzilla just getting so out of control that he was like just shooting his random spot where I don't know. It was hard for me to tell, but like it's like he couldn't. He was catching on fire so bad. He was just like randomly shooting
Mhm.
his spot right. And I thought that was cool. That was good detail. Like that's how hot he was getting. So I thought that was crazy. But this movie, man, was awesome. Final question, Nick. I'm coming to you. Take us through the emotional roller coaster you experienced at the end of this film.
Well, I'm going to be honest, this was my first film. This was my first actual film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a hell of a first film.
I was about to say too. I was like, wow, that's that's a hell of an intro for you.
This is my first film
Good start.
that I walked into. It was on TV, and I'm looking. I'm like, this is a pretty cool thing I'm watching. Let me continue watching it. And then I would go on Netflix and just, find a bunch of DVDs there. I'm like, I'll just continue, starting from the first one to now. It was very emotional for me. I cried. I liked the part where Junior was fighting the crab, and I didn't pay attention till I just rewatched it. We see through all Godzilla movies how they say the Godzilla could regenerate his skin.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to Junior. When he got hit in the chest, it should have been a hole. No, his skin regenerated real quick.
Oh, bro.
I didn't even see that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you how smart my kid is. Because he was watching it with me, and I saw the hole, but he pointed it out, and I didn't even think about it. He was like, what? Because he was like, what happened to the hole in Godzilla? And I was like, I said, oh, no, it's gone. And he was like, yeah, I know it's gone, but he was like, he got hit. And I thought about like, yeah, he did get hit. And I was like, where the heck is hole at? So I didn't even think about it. Dang, that was a good point, Nick. That was a good point, bro.
So for me, like, this movie was a really, really mean roller coaster. I loved Godzilla. I loved Destroyah's design. I loved Junior in the movie. And I love what they did at the end. They had Godzilla die peacefully, where he didn't, nuclearly explode everything. And they had Junior carry on the legacy in peace.
Man, yeah, I mean, and I'm coming to you, Serge, but Nick, what you just said, like, I'm still mind blown by that when you say he can regenerate, because I missed that, and my oldest boy pointed that out. So now when I go back and watch, I'm like, yeah, Nick brought this up, Nick talked about that. That's why I say y'all all give good points, because it might be stuff that I don't even see, that that you guys see. So that's why I think it's just awesome. Serge, take us through the emotional roller coaster you experienced at the end of this film.
Well, I think I had already. I mean, that was. I was born in the '80s, right? That I was born when that shirt that you're wearing, Nick, came out. So I mean, like, for me, it was very emotional because I grew up with the entire Heisei series. So when I saw Godzilla vs. Destroyah, like, that was it. It was for everybody who's grew up with Marvel, Iron Man through Thor on into Infinity Wars and Endgame. Infinity Wars and Endgame was the culmination of all those years of what was it, like 10 years?
Yeah.
And so was the Heisei. Because 84, 85, and then 10 years later, 95, which is this one, I believe. So, if you had people crying at the end of Infinity Wars and Endgame for the reasons that they had, this was the original Infinity Wars and Endgame for me, because it was my favorite series of all time, the Godzilla Heisei series, and it was the final one where, just like Tony Stark dies in Endgame. Well, here's the main character, Godzilla, my favorite character, dying in this one. So that was, man. And then knowing that this is what's going to happen throughout the movie, because I think by the time it came out, it's like we knew that was going to happen. but we weren't ready for the ending with Junior.
No.
That was the great part. So you know, so it was very, very big emotionally to me because this was my end game. And then just the, you know, the movie itself and the performance and the action and just the fact that I think kind of what I love is not necessarily when a series ends, but like finality, like when everything comes around full circle and bam, connects all together and it's done. Obviously, because this one is a direct in relation to directly to 1954, the original, and here we are, and it's ending, and it's done, it's over. So that was really, really big to me because this was my favorite series and is my favorite series, and I did get to grow up with it. So when it was done, it was like, it's done. Like that's it, you know. Which is different for Nick and Remy. Y'all are younger, right? So it's like there was already the Millennium series, but there was no Millennium series at the time. Like this was the end for me because there was nothing else. So it meant something a little different to me, and it was big. And it was a big freaking deal. So it's like a lot to unpack, but yeah, man,
you good.
this was the pinnacle, bro. I mean, because really it was. I mean, if you think about it, apart from the original 54, this is probably, if not the best, one of the best in the entire, from 54 to the end of Heisei. So, I mean, when it came out, when I saw it, man, this is crazy. Like, how are they ever going to top this? Well, they're not going to, because it's over, you know. So, from the perspective of someone that old, that's what this movie was for me.
I will say that was a cool insight and a cool perspective because you're right. Like, for one, I think it's good that it left off right there because how were they going to top that? I mean, that whole movie to me was good. And there's no perfect movie in the world, but this movie right here was awesome, right? And then the ending, you can't beat the ending. Like it was nothing they could do after, even if they wanted to continue that. Heisei, it was going to be really, really hard to eclipse what they had just did. A good answer, by the way, Serge. You too, Nick. Remy, take us through the emotional roller coaster you experienced at the end of this film.
Well, before I ever saw this movie, I already heard of Godzilla's death because there was like this review, Cinemassacre Godzilla fan. I don't know if you guys have seen those videos before. They're on YouTube. Yeah, no, it's like, so it's just like this guy who like reviews all the Godzilla movies, and like Godzilla vs. Destroyah was one of them, and I watched those videos when I was younger. So I already knew Godzilla died at the end of this movie. I already knew about Junior, but still, watching the movie like itself, like at that ending, I can't help but kind of get a little bit choked up. I don't cry at all, but I get choked up because you have that soft music playing and you see Godzilla like give like one final roar, and then he just like kind of like falls and disintegrates all slowly, and then that's it. And you get everybody else's reaction to it, and it's just silent. And I love the fact, a little detail, when Godzilla's about to go nuclear, or when he's melting down, when the military is firing at him, and the sound effects slowly like start to exactly like start to fade away, and the music just envelops the entire screen, and you're just like, wow. Like, I love that moment because it just like gives me chills. And plus, I love seeing all the human reactions to when Godzilla dies. Nobody's cheering, nobody's happy, nobody's nothing. Everybody is just sad, solemn, and quiet, because they understand that this is our fault. As humanity, this is our fault. We created Godzilla, this creature, and we kind of caused his pain. So there is nobody else to blame but us. And Destroyah, because he's an asshole. But us. Like, we have to blame.
And Destroyah, too, because technically humanity may destroy also.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is true.
The
because-
Oxygen Destroyer. Yeah.
Yeah, because back in 1954, they created the Oxygen Destroyer, which killed off the first Godzilla, and now it's back, but as a kaiju.
I just think, to me, it doesn't even picturing that, like, just a walking oxygen destroyer. Like I said again, a kaiju that can fly, shoot energy beams, and as big as Godzilla, right? We saw the face off. He is bigger, like he was taller than Godzilla. But like I said, I just, man, and Godzilla also was able to display a wide range of emotions. Like, I know even leading up to Godzilla versus Kong, if I was telling a lot of people who's really never paid attention and watched Godzilla, he's got some films where they do give him an emotional side. He's got some films that's kind of funny. He's got a playful side. But Godzilla, I thought in this movie was one of the movies that I really, really felt for him, like as if he was real. I was like, why is this happening to my man? Like, what is going on? And I'm like Remy, I didn't like Destroyer. Like, I probably would have swung on Destroyer myself. I probably would have died, but I would have took one for God. I would have took one for Godzilla. So, in loving memory of Donald, right? So I would have took one for him. But I thought this movie was awesome. This is the final question, Nick. I'm coming to you. Out of 5 stars, how would you rate this film?
4.8.
Okay. All right.
It was emotional. Like, I'm a man, not afraid to say it. I cry. I don't cry at a lot of things. Yeah, Godzilla's like a fictional creature, not real and all that. But you like you said, you felt for him like he was an actual human being. Like, he cried when he saw Junior get dropped. Like, he cried.
That was sad.
And you saw he knew his time was coming. That's why he was going all rampaging, throwing his flare out. It was his time. That was it. It was time up. There's nothing you can do now. So what better than give your son the last bit of life that you had? You slowly fade away, and then you have your son to carry on your legacy.
And that's where that's why this movie, for me, I'm gonna give this movie a straight up 5 out of 5. Like, I gotta do it. I enjoyed this movie from beginning to the end. I thought the beginning, the way it came on, I love that. I love they showed Godzilla right off the bat. Right? I'm like, okay, we're getting to it early. And that's what I like. I love movies like that. And Nick, it is okay to cry, bro. It's okay. It's okay.
Of course.
I wanted
Cry,
to
man. Okay.
All right.
You know what? But what happens is, we're men. So men are taught 2 things: to be tough and not cry. That's what we're taught. Honestly, that's what we're taught. So,
And then this movie came out.
And
Yeah,
then
and it said, "Hold my beer."
Right.
Godzilla was just trying to see who was all really there for him, who all cared for him. So I can be like, look, Godzilla, I really care for you, bro. Like, I would have took a punch for Destroyer for you, bro. But
you know what, Donald? You're making me. I'm gonna change it to a 5.5.
Yeah.
Woo! There we go.
Serge, what about you? Out of 5 stars, how would you rate this movie?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously it's going to be really high. I won't. Oh man, now
You can't put it over King of the Monsters. You can't, because that's the highest rated movie, right? King of the Monsters.
It is, but there's only one that's a 5 though for me.
Got to be this one.
Because it's on principle. On principle, 1954 is 5. So if 1954 is 5, then
that's right.
Then this one will actually be higher than King of the Monsters because it is Godzilla vs. Destroyer. So I'm gonna go with 4.8, like Nick originally had.
Okay. Okay, Remy, what about you? Out of 5 stars, where you going with this movie? How would you rate this movie? Yeah.
5 out of 5 stars for me. Like, come on, it's my favorite film right now. Of course, it's gonna be 5 out of 5. Like, I don't know. I know, like, sometimes, like, I don't know, like, for this movie, I just really love Godzilla's side of the story. I felt like it was a good finale to the Heisei series overall. And I felt like it just delivered on some stuff. Even the human storyline, I was like, I'm not annoyed or bored by the humans in this movie. I actually kind of care a little, just a bit. And like, if a Godzilla movie can make me do that, then yeah, it gets a high rating. If it actually makes me care about the people and not want them to get killed or hurt, then that's when it does good. It does a good job.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, to me, I mean, this is one of the best Godzilla films I've watched. And like I said, when we had these conversations, it's like, okay, I can go back and just rewatch these movies. And like I said, I thoroughly enjoy it. Serge, you're up for the next movie. You're up for the next movie. Serge.
Oh God, no! That smile. I don't trust that smile. The way he's doing this with his hands too. I don't trust that.
I trust you, Serge.
He's gonna pick one of the crappy ones, isn't he?
No. I know.
Oh God.
I got it. If I'm right. You want me
to tell you now, or you want me to tell you later?
No, tell us now. I actually want to know right now. Actually.
Later. Okay. Go ahead.
Right now.
Serge.
Okay.
Yeah, tell us.
So, for the next episode of the Godzilla Nerds,
no, no.
we are reviewing Godzilla Raids Again.
No! No! Damn it!
I'm taking it way back.
Damn it! That's one of my least favorites too.
I'm blaming you, Remy. I'm blaming you, bro.
Blame me? What did I do?
You started it. You started it with that post that you did that sometime back.
What?
Yeah, you did.
That
you remember?
That used to like Godzilla movie?
You remember?
There you go. Why?
I gotta find that movie because I have not seen it yet.
It's on HBO Max, I think, Nick.
Yeah,
it
watch it there.
And not only the post, Remy, but you told Nick last week to pick a bad Godzilla movie. Nick didn't take the best.
I was kidding. That was a joke.
I blame this song.
I suggested we do the Godzilla vs. Kong watch along, all right? But no, we got to do Raids Again now.
I thought he was gonna pick Godzilla vs. Biollante.
I thought he was gonna pick Godzilla's Revenge.
No, not after this one. Like this one was so. I'm gonna save that for later.
I guess I'll pick Godzilla Revenge then. So we'll just have back to back.
Oh come on! Wasn't being serious. Why?
Doing it like that?
Oh man.
God,
man. It's been awesome talking to y'all, man. I'm gonna try to get this uploaded as quickly as possible, man. It's always fun talking Godzilla with you guys, man. And y'all have a good night. Peace out.
Peace out, guys.